And very good afternoon, everyone. I'm Sayukta, your host for today's live from All About Skin Wellbeing team, and I'm sure all of you must be doing really good. Today, we are going to discuss about our skin health with focus on urticaria or hives, which we or our near and dear ones would have encountered at some point of time in our lives. Urticaria is characterized by a round rash on the skin that itch a lot. It may be due to chemicals on certain food items, allergy to certain medications, insect stings, sunlight, and sometimes the cause is even unknown. As per study published in Indian Journal of Dermatology, Venerology and Leprosy, more than one-fifth of the population suffer urticaria at one point of time. 60% of patients are in the age group of 20 to 40 years. Incidences are higher in older age groups. Urticaria is classified as acute and chronic, but the most important part stays that we should not ignore it, and doing self medication can worsen the symptoms. Consult a nearby qualified skin specialist, a qualified dermatologist immediately for an early relief. And as we all know, in today's digital world, it's always a boon or blessing if we can get to hear from an expert dermatologist online about urticaria and its types, how we can prevent it, the kind of test required for its diagnosis, the right treatment and management approach for an early relief. So, ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, we have with us renowned dermatologist Dr. Ami Dakshini. She's a dermatologist joining from Bangalore, and she runs her own clinic in Bangalore called Things Skin Clinic. A very warm welcome to you, Doctor.
Thank you so much, dear. Thank you for this very kind words. And let's talk about urticaria.
Right, doctor, because it's quite common. People often get urticaria and they don't know much about it. So that's why we have this platform where we can spread some information, some thing which is factual related with urticaria. To start with, doctor, what is urticaria?
So, as you just briefly mentioned, that these are those red patches that are seen on the surface of our skin. The important thing to understand about urticaria is that it's not always allergy. So, the minute you get red patches which are itchy, the first thing that we think in our mind it's allergy, and then we take some home remedies, as you likely said, and then we don't do anything about it. But urticaria is much beyond that. In common parlance we call it hives. Generally people say I had hives, and we equate it to allergy. But urticaria has multiple causes, and to understand those causes is very important, because this could be recurrent, it can keep coming. And in latest studies that we've done, we've realized that urticaria not only affects the person at that time, but it also affects his entire lifestyle, sleep pattern, food pattern, body dysmorphism, as well as the social circle gets affected. So urticaria, just to make it very simple, can be divided into two different types. Now, this is when you see immediate urticaria. So, when you see urticaria which lasts for less than 6 weeks, it comes, you do some home remedy, it goes away, or it stays for a couple of weeks, keeps coming back, but does not repeat after 6 weeks, is called acute urticaria. And generally, that is due to some infection or some allergy or something that you've eaten or inhaled, because of which you got urticaria. And then, after which, when you moved away from that place, it did not come back. So, that is called acute. The biggest problem there is the chronic. Chronic urticaria is something that continues for more than 6 weeks, sometimes months, sometimes years. And the biggest issue that we have as doctors is that in about 80% of cases, we cannot find the cause. We call it the chronic spontaneous urticaria. That is, it just happens spontaneously, one just doesn't know why. Neither the patient nor the doctor is able to identify. And those are the and those are the a problem. So chronic spontaneous urticaria is something that we doctors give more attention to, and we want to treat it as early as we can and diagnose it well. But in common parlance, whenever you develop red, itchy lesions or hives all over the body, which are itchy, which are warm, and which do not go very quickly, that is called urticaria.
Right. So, as
I
you
hope that
said,
answers your question.
apart from being a skin condition, it also affects our quality of life, and thus it becomes even more important to understand what it is, how we can prevent it, or how we can get it treated. So treatment
Yeah.
plays an important role, because otherwise, as you also said, that we normally go for home remedies. Then these days there are these DIYs by various social media influencers. We have these chemist shops so easily accessible, available, and we'll go there, get some anti-allergen whatever, and we try treating ourselves, but that is not a good idea. Why self-medication, like home remedies, DIYs, or over-the-counter, maybe topical applications, or having anti-allergens, etc., why they don't work, or why it is that important to go and consult a qualified dermat doctor?
So, that's an important question. Very important for all our viewers to understand this, that urticaria is not equal to allergy. And when you just take an allergen, it doesn't mean you're cured. Because
Right.
the first thing in urticaria is to find the cause. And acute urticaria, which suddenly just comes up, is mostly due to an infection. It could be a viral infection, it could be a bacterial infection, and these infections subsequently can become more serious. So, urticaria could be one of the first manifestations of that disease. And if you go to a doctor quickly, you can actually treat your infection without getting into serious complications. So that is the first reason, that the minute you see such a rash, you should consult your skin specialist so that you know what is the cause. Now, the second problem is in these DIYs, as well as these, treatments that over the counter the chemists give you, many a times there are steroids in them. Now, when you consume a steroid, it gives you immediate result. You will feel good. The urticaria rash will go away completely, but it can work negatively. Like if it's an infection, the infection then grows more, because when we reduce our immunity taking a steroid, the infection gets an upper hand. So the virus starts multiplying even more. So subsequently, the disease or the infection will actually propagate. So you should not ideally go to a chemist and just buy any over the counter medication. The second issue with all of this is
Right.
it can temporarily benefit, but it will never cure or completely understand why did you develop the urticaria in the first place, which is why going to a doctor becomes very important. And last but not the least is that many a times medications which are anti-allergens, but they are sedating. So, you feel drowsy, you feel sleepy, and it doesn't leave you in the normal way that you would do. So, these medicines also have side effects, which is why you should never go over the counter or DIY, but just go meet your skin specialist to find the cause.
Okay. Now, doctor, as you also said that it is a skin condition, but again, it hampers the quality of life. So it is important to consult a doctor and get it treated. But then, how serious can urticaria be? Is it something we should be really, concerned about? It can go really bad. Anything like that?
So, urticaria has two aspects. The first is, as we discussed, the rash on the skin. Many a
Right.
times, it also affects the soft tissues of our body, like the lips, and then subsequently, sometimes even the throat or the nasal cavity. And that's when, at times, breathing or swallowing becomes difficult. Now, this is a rare case, but it can happen. And if this is not treated quickly, it can cause certain, issues and problems, and even serious side effects when you're not able to breathe or swallow well. And then we start panicking. And when we start panicking, all of this aggravates because stress hormones increase and the effects of urticaria also increase. So rather than leaving it to a later time when the angioedema is so much and then you have to go in an emergency, it is always better to go to your doctor immediately when you see the rash on your body.
Right. So don't leave it untreated. Consult a doctor so that you can, know how severe it can go, and at least we have a good management approach for that. Now, doctor, as you said, it's just not an allergy. It's also at the same time, it is how our body reacts to various things. But if we want to put all of it together, what are the main causes of urticaria?
So, as I said, urticaria could be acute or chronic, and generally in acute, it could be infections, it could be allergies to something that you've eaten or you've inhaled. It also very rarely could be something that you've touched or contact. Chronic is the one which is very difficult to understand, because in chronic it could be induced by certain things, like induced by heat. When you take a warm shower and you come out and the whole body is red and itchy, it could be due to cold. That is, if you're eating ice cream, or if you have an ice pack in a particular area, there it becomes red, itchy and raised. It could be due to induced due to certain things like contact. When you put a bindi with the glue in it, that glue itself can cause an allergic reaction, and you can develop urticaria or allergy in that area. So it could be those, or it could be a spontaneous urticaria, in which it could be again two things. It could be autoimmune, that is, your body itself is throwing a reaction so that you're getting the rash all over the body. Or it could be due to certain allergens in the system, in the atmosphere, which we have to figure out. So if you look at it, it's very confusing, lots of causes, and most of the times no cause. So
Right.
understanding urticaria, discussing it with your doctor, that how do you plan to stay free from urticaria for most of the time, and knowing the triggers becomes very, very important.
Right. So knowing the triggers is very important. And what you just said, I can make out that anything under the sun, and even then, sun can cause urticaria. Anything can cause urticaria. So we can
Absolutely.
understand how
To give you
difficult it
one
can be.
example, yeah, to give you one example, a very simple thing like orange color. It's an edible color that we put in a lot of our stuff, right? We put it in our
Right.
vegetables, we put it in our drinks, like, all the
Mhm.
mango juices and all that you get.
Yeah,
That
yeah, yeah.
orange color
Cakes and all.
itself is an allergen.
Okay. Right, right. So yeah, n number of things are there which can
Yeah,
cause
yeah.
urticaria. The doctor, when a patient comes to you, are there any tests to diagnose or get into the root cause? What do you normally, start settling down the course of treatment, etc.? How do you diagnose?
See, the thing is, the first thing is clinical diagnosis when you see the rash on the body, and the second is history. Most of the times, the patients tell us that the rash comes, it stays for an hour or 2 hours, and then it goes away, and it then comes back again the next day. So that's the history. In the history, we also can figure out whether it's acute, that it's just happened, or it's chronic, that it's been happening since a long time. The third thing is, of course, understanding the triggers. That's where the history again comes into play, where we ask them that, is there anything particular that you did? Very simply to put, like, walnuts, mushrooms, you have prawns, all these things, some kinds of fish. All these can cause food allergies, and then suddenly a rash developing on your body. So that's an easy question that we can check and find out in history. Certain other things like using new skincare, it could be a fragrance skincare which you've never tried earlier. That's also a good history, that we know that, okay, it could have been contact to something which you started. So history is extremely essential. And then, of course, as you said, blood tests, they become very important to find out the cause. So in the first time when the patient comes, we just do a 2 or 3 very essential blood tests, where first we do just the complete blood count, because most kinds of allergy, you have a particular, a blood cell called eosinophil, which increases. So we do a complete blood count just to know if the eosinophils high or not. If they are high, we know it's allergy. If it's not high, then we know it's not an allergy. The second thing we do is something called the ESR and CRP. So these are actives which start increasing when there is inflammation in the body. So when these two are high, we know that there is a chronic inflammation since a long time. It could have been a chronic infection. It could be anything that is related in your body which is causing inflammation, and that is causing urticaria. So we get these tests done. We also get thyroid done. Now, many cases of urticaria and thyroid run parallelly. The minute you start noticing that your weight is increasing, when you have irregular menstruation for a woman, when you can't bear heat, all these things tell you that there could be a thyroid hormone that comes down, and that parallelly can show also as urticaria. So we get the thyroid tests also done. So these are the initial tests that we do just to differentiate between allergy and immunity. So these are the tests, and then once we figure out that it's allergic, we treat according to the allergy. We do patch tests, we do certain allergen tests just to know if there's any specific allergen that they are sensitive to. But if all this is normal, then we go towards the autoimmune route. So there we find out the immunoglobulin levels and we try to see what kind of autoimmunity it is and treat accordingly.
Fair enough. Now, doctor, another way, important thing is that many times people are because so aware these days, information is click away. So what they do, they'll themselves go to a lab and get the allergy test done. And then with the reports, they'll go to the doctor that, see, I'm allergic to these 50, odd things. The problem is that eliminating 50 things from your routine is not a very practical approach. So, what do you suggest? And
Absolutely.
plus, these are not very pocket-friendly tests, which we do by ourselves without consulting a doctor.
So the first, yeah, I agree with you completely. The first thing that I always tell my patients is that do not do tests without consulting a doctor, because allergy tests, believe me, like you rightly said, 50 things they will give you that you're allergic to, and you can't stop. It's like stopping breathing or stopping going out or stopping
Actually,
doing a daily routine, which is not possible. And all of us at some time in our life are allergic to something at some given time, and that keeps changing. It's not that what you're allergic to today, say dust or say dust mites, maybe after a couple of years you may not be, and when you are earlier not sensitive, you might get sensitive, because
right.
all this is a process in the body. It's all from within, associated with many things: how your liver is doing, how your gut is doing, how stressed you are. All of that affects allergy and our body's response to certain things. So it's very important to not get any of the tests done before you go to a doctor, because as I told you, 50% of cases are not allergic. And all these
Right.
allergy tests, believe me, are very expensive. They're all in the range of 10,000 and above, and it's
Right.
just a waste getting those tests done. So it's always better to go with the doctor, as and when the
Right.
doctor tells you, get those tests done.
Right. So the bottom line is, in case you have a skin rash, which is very itchy, etc., please go and consult a doctor. Anything which is normal, which is not normal on your skin, please go and consult a doctor. Don't do home remedies. Don't do DIYs. Don't go for over-the-counter medication, etc., etc. Now, doctor, because we just spoke about how you do the diagnosis, etc., in case there are any tests, whatever, then what are the treatment options available for both acute and chronic?
So when it's acute, it's easier because, as I said, you really know exactly what it is. If it's an infection, we treat the infection, the urticaria
Hmm.
comes down itself. If it is an
Right.
allergy, we find out the allergy, we reduce the triggers. So it's easy when it's acute. And at that time, we just give simple antihistamines. Why I say histamine? Because when any urticaria or wheal or hive comes, essentially it's because of a active ingredient called histamine, which comes out from the particular cell into our blood, which causes redness, swelling, and itching in the body. So antihistamine, so this, it will negate the effect of this histamine, and that is what we give when we know acute urticaria, along with treatment of the infection. So we start the antihistamine and we monitor the patient every 2 to 4 weeks. Now, when it is chronic, right? In chronic, again, if it is due to an allergy or due to spontaneous urticaria, we give these antihistamines. We start with two, one in the morning, one in the evening. We step it up if there is a need where we feel that it's, not controlling it enough. And we continue that and see how it works. In autoimmune urticaria, we then have to give certain other ingredients, but we always start with antihistamines, see the patient's approach. Very rarely do we need to give oral steroids just to control an acute reaction. And at times we start, when nothing works, we then begin certain biologics. Those are the last resorts that we keep for urticaria patients. But believe me, along with these medications, lifestyle changes are extremely essential. Starting from understanding your triggers, to your sleep pattern, to understanding what works for you and what does not. Like a hot shower increases it, then you reduce it. To understand that lifestyle, what kind of food triggers it. So doing all those things along with reduction of stress is very critical. And here I just want to take a small minute and tell everybody who's suffering from urticaria is that do not try to change the dosage of your medications on your own. Do not skip your tablets, do not adjust the dosages, because it's important that you keep your doctor in the loop when you are on
Right.
medication. So stick to your routine very diligently.
I'm so thankful that you took this, and you addressed this as well. Because what happens? It's again a very common tendency, especially when we have some chronic issues, because we know the medication is for, like, it's going to be really long that we need to continue it. And it's a very common tendency. We stop taking medication once we feel relieved, or we will alter the dosage as per our wish. But this is not a good
Yeah.
idea. Please consult your doctor. First is to go to a doctor or a qualified dermat in this case, and to trust your doctor and follow the prescription is very, very, very important. Especially in case of chronic urticaria. Very common question, doctor, that people, especially patients of chronic urticaria, often ask is, will it ever go away? Or would there be a day when I'll have to you'll ask me not to have the medications anymore? So when that day will come, what is your answer to
I
that?
know. So, most of the times I tell them it's in your hands. If you really work on yourself, you improve your diet, you find ways to de stress yourself, that is going to reduce the inflammation in the body. So, be it just chronic spontaneous or be it autoimmune, everything starts from our mind. The way we respond to situations, the way we deal with stress, the way we keep ourselves cool and calm really affects the skin. So I always put it on them and say, look, if you work well, if you are happy, if you de stress yourself, all of this will start coming down. And, I really believe it because I've seen in my clinical practice so many patients doing very well, going off medications just with few lifestyle changes.
Right, right. You also mentioned about stress, and we all know that stress is not a good thing. But is there anything called stress urticaria?
So, stress typically doesn't directly cause urticaria. It's an
Mhm.
indirect way that it causes. So, it increases certain hormones, especially your cortisol, which is the flight and fight hormone. So, when this is constantly on the rise, it makes a lot of changes in our immune system. And that causes inflammation. And inflammation then leads to autoimmune diseases. It could be anything. It could be arthritis. It could be simple things like uveitis, in the eye. It can cause acidity. It causes irregular bowel disease. Nowadays you must have heard so many getting an IBD. Not
Yeah.
not tolerating wheat, not tolerating gluten or lactose. All these IBDs, all these are a spectrum due to inflammation. Now, if you reduce that inflammation, all of this comes under control, including autoimmune urticaria. So it's important that you learn how to de-stress. Most of my patients say, doctor, who doesn't have stress? All of us have some or the other stress. And I totally
True.
agree. It's just that we should understand how to de-stress. We can't be always in the stress mode. There has to be stress, and then you have to come down to the baseline. That's the critical thing that we need to remember.
Right. It's like a vicious circle. You have urticaria, you have stress
Yeah.
because you have urticaria, and it's not a very good thing to have. Then that stress will again increase the symptoms, etc. So it's like a vicious circle. There are so many questions, flooded with questions of our viewers. I'll take few of them. So
Sure.
there is Lucky Sharma, and his question is: does urticaria cause permanent skin damage?
So, urticaria itself is very superficial. It's in just the superficial layer of our skin, so it doesn't cause any damage. The only problem comes when we chronically keep itching. When we keep itching, the trauma or the scars then at times can cause abrasion of the skin and later pigmentation. But urticaria by itself will cause no skin damage.
Okay. So Hannah is here, and her question is urticaria more common in women?
So Hannah, that's a good question. It actually depends on which kind of urticaria. When we are looking at autoimmune urticaria, we are seeing that it's more prevalent in women. But general acute urticaria or chronic urticaria, there is no difference between a man and a woman.
Kiara is here. Her question is, ma'am, can urticaria cause swelling?
Yeah. So, Kiara, yes, urticaria is a swelling of the skin. So, when you develop urticaria, they are like these round or irregular patches which are red in color and they are raised. So, that is what is urticaria. At times, even your lips can become red and swollen. So, that's called angioedema. But yes, one of the symptoms is swelling.
Okay. Tina is here. Her question is, can urticaria appear suddenly?
Of course, that is the biggest problem with urticaria because it just comes out of the blue, and you don't even have time to understand or think that what exactly did I do wrong, but why has this come? So it is a very quick phenomenon, but in some cases it also can be delayed. It can go as late as 48 to 72 hours before the trigger that you've done. It can come delayed too, but generally it is sudden.
Okay. Doctor, is urticaria contagious?
No, not at all, because urticaria is not an infection. So urticaria itself is not contagious. It's only your way, your body is dealing with some irregularity. So I again explained to the patients the same thing. It is not a disease. It is just a disorder. So the
This.
orderly fashion of the skin is suddenly changed a little, and it's just a disorder, but not a disease.
Okay. Doctor, any dietary precautions, any do's and don'ts that you normally give to the patients of urticaria?
Yes, yes, absolutely. See, most of the urticarias in our country, especially, are heat induced. When you sit in a lot of heat or you're sweating too much or you've just come out from the gym or a hot shower, you tend to notice more itching and burning sensation, and then, of course, red rash all over the body. So be careful. If you have a tendency for this, do not take a shower in very hot water. If you are going to the gym and you're going to sweat a lot, see to it that you're under a fan or in an AC environment so the body temperature doesn't increase too much. This is, if you see heat, there are some people when they go in the evening for a walk, but they always come back and they get these itchy rashes. So that could be due to the pollens or due to the dust in the environment. So wear a mask and go. just to prevent inhalation of those allergens, which can cause again itching and irritation. In food, understand your triggers. So, for some patients, I always tell them maintain a diary or an Excel sheet where you write down what you've eaten during that day. And the days that you develop a rash, mention over their rash. After about 4 or 5 episodes, you will be able to figure out which is the common factor that is causing the rash. It could be simple things, like I said, walnut. You've eaten one day walnut in a pie, another day you've eaten in a brownie, and you never relate it. But when you write it down, you'll find something in common and try and avoid that in your diet. So these are simple measures that you can take to prevent getting this rash continuously.
Absolutely. And doctor, before we wind up, any take home message for our viewers?
So, again, I repeat that urticaria is not a disease. So do not feel low or, get that victim feeling that why me? Why did it happen to me? Because it's not a disease, it's just a disorder. It comes and it goes if you are proactive in understanding the cause of urticaria and taking the right measures. When it comes to spontaneous urticaria, or it also comes to autoimmune urticaria, believe me, a simple change in your lifestyle, like sleeping on time, eating on time, living a more disciplined lifestyle, staying and learning to understand how to manage stress, all these simple things go a long way in preventing further episodes of urticaria. And last but not the least, trust your doctor. If they've given you a particular medication, it always has a reason. And more than your concerns about side effect, the doctor is concerned. So he or she will never give you something that will give you permanent side effects. So remember, trust your doctor. Do not alter your medications. Continue it consistently and work on yourself.
Wonderful. Thank you so very much, Dr. Amit. Actually, it was wonderful as always talking to you. Thank you for making this whole session so informative. Thank you once again.
Thank you so much for having me here. And in case there are any questions, please, I'm always free to answer them.
Thank you, Doctor. And viewers, thank you for your excellent participation in today's session. To get latest updates on how to keep your skin healthy, do like and follow our FB page, all about skin well-being. We are also available on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Thank you and have a great day ahead. Goodbye.